I'm City Manager Jim Drumm, and this is the City of Brunswick in Depth. Today we're going to talk about a couple issues. It's summer in the Golden Isles in Brunswick, and there's some things that are happening. We're looking at the hurricane maps and seeing what might come our way, and things that talk about hurricanes in the past. So I hope you enjoy the show. Okay. Would you want me to keep going?
No, say I want to introduce my first guest. 3, 2, 1.
Well, now I'd like to introduce our guest. We're going to talk about Hurricane Irma, a storm that happened a few years ago. But first, I'd like to introduce our new Assistant City Manager, Tanette Myers. And normally now, if you've never been on the show before, what I do is I ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. And so you've been on board a little over a month, is that right?
I have. I've been here in the City of Brunswick for a little over a month. It's a great opportunity, and my name again is Tanette Myers. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. And this has been an exciting opportunity for me to work with City Manager Drumm and the other fellow guest, Mr. Travis Stiegel. So I'm in City Hall, second floor. Please feel free to get my contact information and come by anytime, and we'll see what we can do to work together to build a better Brunswick. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Now, you've come from Savannah.
I come from Savannah.
And for our audience, you've lived there your whole life, is that right?
I have. So I'm very familiar with coastal Georgia, very invested in making it a better place and showing all of the treasures of this part of the state. And I'm looking forward to bringing forth my experience to making sure that we can do better for our citizens here.
Wonderful. And next we have Travis Stiegel, and Travis has been on the program before. Travis is our Director of Economic Development, and today we're going to talk about, we mentioned it's summer, and actually as we're looking at the hurricane season, we're in the middle of it, and we're actually noticing some activity, but one of our topics today is Hurricane Irma. It happened 2 years ago, and a lot of people had impacts in our community. They remember the flooding. We had people contacting their insurance companies. They were calling FEMA to see what FEMA could do for them, and some people did get funding. Some people got not enough funding. And so I think we have a new program, actually. The wheels of government move slow, and my understanding is Brunswick moves a little bit faster than the county moves a little faster than the state, but the slowest of all probably is the United States government with all the wheels and everything involved. But the United States Congress has come back and designated funds to the state of Georgia, which is referred to as Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery?
Disaster
Relief, okay. Relief. All right. So I know we use the initials a lot, CDBG-DR.
That's right.
But tell us a little bit about the program, Travis. A little bit of how it's going to potentially come to our program. We've been awarded funding for our community and other communities around the state, and our residents are going to have a possibility of finding some funding.
That's right. Well, we are very excited now to be able to receive CDBG-DR funding. All right. The federal government just released about $38 million to the state of Georgia. And now the state of Georgia is allowing City of Brunswick, Glenn County, Kingsland, Camden County, Dulce County, and the city of Albany the opportunity for its citizens to be able to either renovate or rehab or raise their homes now. And so we just had a great workshop in Brunswick about a week or so ago, right, where the state kind of came down, went over applications with us, and just basically told us, hey, listen, once you get your applications finished, go ahead and get your citizens ready, right, to be able to come in probably about 90 days in order for them to fill out their applications so we can start helping out. And so the disaster recovery money is really to make individuals whole that wasn't completely made whole by either their insurance companies, whether they were insured or underinsured, to make individuals whole from FEMA. Maybe something happened and they couldn't get any more direct funding from FEMA. And also SBA. We do know that SBA came in and offered some assistance, but a lot of times those assistance were loans, right?
Right.
And so one of the hurdles that we had to cross along in this process was say, hey, listen, do we add individuals in who receive any type of assistance from SBA also.
And even though the SBA, the Small Business Administration, it's actually
Yes.
for residents as well. It didn't just apply for businesses.
That's
I think
right.
people think solely it's business, but it really was.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so, like I said, we were, incredibly fortunate enough for the City of Brunswick. If you are in the 31520 zip code, because it was designated, so if you are within the 31520 zip code, you have the opportunity to qualify and be approved for it.
Okay, so again, these are funds that maybe FEMA gave you $3,000 for your house, and it didn't go far enough to finish the roof, and because there were estimates given up front,
Yes.
and some people did as much as they could with the funds they had.
Exactly.
But this can make the difference, and even in some cases, if they've already funded it, this will recover some of those funds.
So actually, no.
Okay, going to clarify that. Yes.
What happens is this. Let's say, for instance, if you had $10,000 worth of damage, but you only got $5,000 worth of assistance. So the goal is to kind of make you whole and come in with the additional $5,000.
Right, but if you had a bank account or some other funding source, then it's not going to repay you. It's actually going to.
No, it is not.
But this is for folks who didn't get. They didn't get enough to finish the job, basically.
Right, exactly.
Right. So
Right.
these are the.
Balance of the expenses.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's only going to cover your balance. They just kind of see it as what they want to do. Number one, like I said, is to make you whole.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to kind of cover any gaps. So, unfortunately, in the thought of our federal government is that if you spent it and paid for it, there's no reimbursement for that.
Right. If you're lucky enough that you had that savings account or whatever, whatever
Exactly.
those funds may have come from.
Exactly, exactly. It's really a gap filler program.
Right. Okay.
And what that truly means is that, we have some residents that had $10,000 worth of damage, but were only able to receive $2,500, $3,000, and that wasn't enough to do, to fix their roof, right?
Right.
It was probably enough to just kind of
Just to patch it.
Yep, right, to patch things
And
together.
do a temporary fix.
Exactly, exactly.
And this will be able to complete
Right.
the job for the household. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I know as a drive through the community, and there were some homes, and it took almost the 2 years for some people to get through the insurance programs that they had.
Absolutely right.
But there's still a lot of homes that have like the blue tarp on the roof.
Yes.
And or there's homes that we know that were actively lived in that are now vacant. And in some cases, we're not even aware because the families are mowing the grass and taking care of the home, but there's actually no one's
But
living
they're
in them.
displaced.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And this will give us the opportunity to, bring these houses, back up to livable and safe conditions, okay? And this will also give us the opportunity to have those citizens to come back into our communities, because that's what we want, right?
We do.
We want our citizens to have a quality of life. We want them to have safe and quality housing. And so this is going to give us the opportunity to do that on a large scale and on the scale that we need.
Right.
The one big thing also I want to bring up about the disaster relief program is that if anyone is having an issue with their title, whether if someone passed away during the process and it didn't kind of make it through probate, or if it's just kind of been a long outstanding issue, maybe you couldn't prove that you owned the home before, even though you've been there now for 10, 15 years.
And so FEMA wouldn't have been able to give you funding or
And so
something
FEMA
like that.
would not been able to give you funding. Come see us. We have actually put something in place for individuals who are literally having those issues and problems, right? And so
Yes.
we're working with the Georgia property heirs attorneys through the state, who will be able to help individuals to clear their titles in order for them to participate in the program. And so if you're having problems and issues with your title, please just come see us. We do not want anyone to feel like they have to stay at home, feel embarrassed about any of the things of that nature. So please come see us. Also, in order to participate in the disaster relief program, you have to be current on your mortgage. And
Okay.
we do understand that since the hurricanes had come, some sort of financial hardship may have arisen, and you may be behind.
Right.
Come see us on that also, because the state of Georgia has been really, really, really great in offering the Home Advantage program, right? And so the Home Advantage program, if you are behind on your mortgage or if you're underwater on your mortgage, just
Right.
by saying that you owe a lot more on your home than now the value of your home is, come see us. We are able to actually help you with that through the Home Advantage that the state of Georgia is offering. And so, once again, we just don't want, people to stay at home and feel like they may not qualify for whatever
Or you
reason.
don't have any options.
Right, and that they don't have any
Right.
options.
Because there are resources available.
And we're fighting. We are fighting for our citizens to make sure that they're being whole.
I think that's a wonderful thing, and I know that through the years we come across those I call them homeowners, but
Yes.
where the original homeowner may have been your mother or father or your grandmother and grandfather in some cases, and there are cousins involved, and so they're going to work out those issues with the deed that's going to allow these folks to get these homes repaired.
Right.
They tend to sometimes be our worst code enforcement issues too, because when there's not a clear owner, sometimes there's not a responsible party identified to come work on some of them. And this is a way that, whether it was your parents or grandparents, you can step in and maybe even reclaim these homes. If no one's living in them now, it's an opportunity to get in there and potentially reclaim them and get them repaired.
That's right. That's
So
right.
this is
Yeah.
it's a great program actually. I think, and I think it took a while to happen, because remember it wasn't 2 years ago.
It's taken us 2 years to do it. But it's worth the good fight, right?
It is. Now, I guess another thing to look at with the CDBG DR, people in the City of Brunswick often say, well, you already have a CDBG program for home repair. So what's the difference? And there is a difference, actually.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think that one of the differences is there are different regulations on qualifications for the regular CDBG home repairs. There may be people that are more of moderate income, perhaps, that could qualify for the CDBG DR.
That's right.
So it's not solely low income. It could maybe we'd have to really, people should come in to see how they might be able to qualify.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and I think additionally, we have the opportunity in Glynn County. This is I know the city's had a program for a number of years, but our county government is participating in the CDBG DR.
That's right.
And so if you don't live in the city limits, but you live outside in the county's jurisdiction, you have an opportunity also to have these
That's right.
repairs done for your home.
Disaster relief.
And for years, we've had people in the county who've come in with issues, and we've said, you're not in our jurisdiction, we can't help you. You have to talk to the county government, but they never had the regular CDBG program. This is an opportunity for those folks to come in and potentially get repairs for their homes.
That's right.
So they
That's
definitely
right.
need to contact the county as well on that. So
And,
this,
you
go
know,
ahead.
as long as your zip code says
Yes.
31520, you're able to qualify.
And that's a good point, because that zip code is mostly in the city limits, but there's quite a bit of territory outside in the county. I mean, going up towards Altama and those areas. So I guess it's a very jagged line. So I think people pretty much know what their zip code is. So
That's
would,
right.
So
That's
it
right.
would definitely come and help and apply for them.
That's
Good. I think it's a wonderful program for our community.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And we're also going to receive new housing
Ah, and that's
because of the program.
That's a good point.
Yes, we are going to receive new housing because of the program. Many of you may have traveled up and down MLK for years and seen the old Perry School bus yard site that was empty. Now we will have a 57-unit project that's going to be done.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot like Norwich Commons, right? It's going to be a very, very, very
So townhomes.
townhomes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep, yep. So it's going to be a very great development. That is going to free up, some housing for some of our seniors and some of our families that want to move into the community. And so we're very excited about that also. And so you're going to see that kind of spring up probably around the end of first quarter, right? We've just got our approval done for it. And so now they're just kind of going through the next steps, working with the Department of Community Affairs, crossing all
Right.
the T's, dotting all the I's with phase 1 and phase 2 environmentals. And so once they, complete that, we will see some ground being broken, and we'll have some nice new units for our community.
I think that'll be a great improvement in that area.
I think so
The,
also.
the property's been vacant for a couple of years. We've been recently talking about hurricanes, and if people don't remember the Perry School bus lot, they'll probably remember that's where some of the hurricane yard debris sat. The trees and the stumps and things sat there for a few months while they were being processed, so it's definitely going to be much prettier than
Yes.
what's been there.
And something else about that site that I'm very excited about is that for a long time there's been a food desert, right? And
Yes.
part of the development and the design of that site was to include a building site for either a co-op or a farmer's market or something of that nature. And so
Right.
we're very excited to have that. And so not only to bring housing to that market, but now we're going to be able to bring fresh food to that
Right.
particular market. And so
Okay.
we're extremely excited about it.
And I guess the concept of how do we get new housing from the CDBG-DR, I think there's the understanding that some of the homes in the community will be repaired, as we've talked about, or have been
Yes.
repaired, but there are a fair number that haven't been, or they've gone beyond the point of being repaired, and so those homes will probably have to come down. So with the loss of those homes, these are replacement housing for people who don't have
That's
the
right.
ability to either buy or rent, because some of
That's
these
right.
property units will be rented. I would assume all of them will be rented.
Yes, you're right.
Now, our developer, who's been awarded that contract?
Bill Gross.
Bill Gross, and
Bill Gross, yes.
he was the developer of Norwich Commons.
Yes, yep. So he's been up and down the coast.
Mhm.
He's known for doing a very good product.
And Norwich
he's
Commons
even
has
done a few
done-
in Savannah. If I'm not mistaken, he's doing 2 school renovations in Savannah right now into housing. And so he's very known. He has a very quality product. And you know what? The best thing about Bill is that he came in and he listened to what we were saying as staff and listened to what the community was saying, right? He did not want to come in and build these usual stick-built, commercial-grade, just block buildings.
Right.
We will actually have green spaces. We will have parks. We will have things of that nature that's built within this community. And so we really enjoy working with him, and we really appreciate that the state kind of listened to our needs also, right? And we're able to get this up and running for our community. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think it's going to be a great addition.
I think so. I think so.
So-
I think so.
That means we can't have hurricanes anymore because we'll have to look for a place for debris.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's okay. We
Pile
can,
it in the parking lot of City Hall, right?
if that means we can bring in those nice units to our community, we'll figure it out, I'm
That's
sure.
right. That's right.
So I know the program's just getting underway. So if you're out there saying this might apply to me, how do I learn more? How do I contact the program before it gets up and running?
All right. So just kind of keep in mind that we probably will not start taking applications for the program to even start repairing homes for about 90 days. But what you can do between now and that time that will both help the city, county, and yourself out is stop by City Hall. Okay, you can stop by City Hall, come to the second floor, and grab what's called a community development checklist. And this checklist is going to allow you to start collecting information before you have to put in your application. And so the difference would be if you waited until you got your application and then started down the checklist, it may take you a couple of months to round up things like title, driver's license, or or just regular IDs. There could be some income information that you may have to call and collect that income information. So what I would suggest now is 2 things. First is come by, walk in, grab a checklist. It's very easy to read, and based off that checklist, you can start rounding up information. The second thing is just give us a call. Give us a call at 267-5500 down at City Hall. Give us a call at 267-5500, and we can help out from there.
Well, very good. Well, thank you both very much. It was a great discussion today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our second topic today is economic development. And so I've asked Travis to stick around a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about something. I know we have a lot of programs going on to entice businesses to come into Brunswick.
Yes.
Whether it's downtown or it's the Norwich Corridor or Highway 17, we have some variation of benefits, incentives.
That's right.
And I think one of the newest ones that has come in that's been very effective is the federal opportunity zones.
That's right.
Could you explain a little bit about that? I know we've had some seminars for businesses, but not everybody catches on to that. Or there might be someone out there wanting to start a business
Yep.
and know that there's actually a part of Brunswick where there's some really unique benefits.
Yes. So the City of Brunswick is very lucky. We have been designated as a federal opportunity zone by the U.S. Treasury and the IRS, right? And
Okay.
so because a majority of our city now has been designated as a qualified opportunity zone, we qualify for certain tax benefits for people who want to bring their business into downtown Brunswick and other areas, and also individuals who now want to invest in real estate, right? Whether it's residential or whether it's commercial. But now we are very, very, very lucky to have this tax break. And basically what happens is that if you are a business that want to move into the City of Brunswick or within the Federal Opportunity Zone, now you have the opportunity to generate income in your business and not have a federal tax liability for a period of 10 years.
That's huge,
That is
actually.
huge.
I mean, sometimes you hear of very limited cases, but this is something that's it's a national program that started just a couple of
That's
years
right.
ago. But I
That's
mean,
right.
but most
It's
of the
huge.
most of the locations, though, if you look at other places around the country, they're out in the middle of a desert or something.
That's
They're
right.
not actually
That's right.
on the ocean front in a vibrant downtown.
That's right. So we're very lucky about that. You know, and the big thing about thinking about our qualified opportunity zone is this, is that a lot of people tend to think that you have to have a lot of money to do these investments. But it's anyone that have a capital gain, whether that capital gain was 20 grand, 50,000, 100,000. Like I said,
Okay.
I know a lot of times you hear individuals that talk about millions and millions of dollars. And so this is an incentive that works if you're an attorney that wants to open up an attorney's office within the zone, if you want to open up a tax service within the zone, or if you want to open up a 600 employee business within the opportunity zone.
Okay.
And so it's definitely a federal tax incentive that goes the whole spectrum of individuals. And so, and Brunswick is definitely poised for the mom and pop, you know, 20 and below employees. So
Sure.
yeah, so if you have even your lawn care service. Also, what we're starting to see because of the opportunity zone is the growth of our buildings downtown being purchased and these buildings being renovated, right? And so the great thing about our opportunity zone is this. If you purchase a building and renovate that building, over the span of 10 years, whatever equity that builds up in that building and you sell it in 10 years, you don't have a federal tax liability to it.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
So, and the awesome thing is also, whatever income that you generate within those 10 years, all right, you don't have a federal tax liability to that also.
So if I wanted to open a restaurant
Yep.
and I was in this zone, and unfortunately it's not the entire city,
No.
but there's a geographic zone that includes a large chunk of downtown and
That's
other
right.
parts of the city.
That's right.
If I wanted to open that restaurant, that means I would have that tax benefit if I operated within the zone.
Absolutely. What would be even better if you found a building that was blighted or a building that had just been empty for years. If you bought the building
All right.
and opened your restaurant in the building, you get both of those.
You have a real estate return as well as the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very interesting.
And so those are the things that are happening here in Brunswick now. And as you will start to see in the upcoming months, you're going to start seeing new apartments start to come up downtown. You're going to see new businesses start to flow into downtown. And like I said, it doesn't matter. If the biggest thing that we can convey for our citizens here in Brunswick is that it doesn't matter the size.
Right.
It doesn't matter the size of what your capital gain is. It is able to be used here in Brunswick, and the federal opportunity zone is quite large. So it's not just
Right.
here in the city of Brunswick, but it does expand a little bit further out in the county. And we've made it very, very easy for you to actually go on and see what the zone is and to get more information. Once again, this is just kind of a high-level introduction of exactly what the zone is and you will probably need the assistance of both your attorney and your accountant, all right, when you are looking at doing your business in the Opportunity Zone. But visit us at opportunitybrunswick.com. It is opportunitybrunswick.com, and we've laid out a whole host of educational information. We've even developed an interactive map that will show you not only if your prospective investment is either going to be in the Federal Opportunity Zone. It also lays out if it's in a TAD. It also lays out if it's in an enterprise zone. And so you're able to kind of stack these incentives.
So
with your
extra benefits.
That's right.
And if you're not in the zone, we do have, like you said, in some cases the TAD. We also have those other benefits, so it's not like you're totally left out.
Yes.
I think one thing that's kind of interesting historically is that we have seen a little bit of redevelopment, what they call south of Gloucester in downtown, but there's been a need to do something north of Gloucester.
Yes.
And this does that. It includes the downtown, but it branches, like you said, up into the neighborhoods, up along 341, and even out into the county. So, and we didn't get to pick the boundary. This was a federal census tract.
That's right.
But it also, the statistics showed that's where the need was, and I think that's going to make a great improvement for the city.
So it's a pretty large zone, right? It is going to go from Gloucester Street all the way out to the Brunswick Country Club.
Right.
Okay. It's going to be as wide as from Highway 17 all the way over to 341. And so it covers a very large swath of the city. And right now we're also working on, like you said, a little bit further north. And so we're working on bringing in businesses on Highway 17. We are truly excited about talking to new businesses now that will be starting to locate along Norwood Street. And so us being able to kind of redevelop and get new businesses going along Norwood Street, we're excited about that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think if people want to learn more, if you're an investor and you want to learn more, they need to check that website.
Yes.
And
if you want to learn more.
Or they need to call you.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm always available. Please reach out at 689-8082. 689-8082. I'm always available for you. Please visit opportunitybrunswick.com. Once again, that's going to be opportunitybrunswick.com. It's filled with tons of information. We're actually in the midst of updating it with more. We've just finished up talking with Georgia Power. They're going to add some things about demographics. They're going to add more things about where buildings are located. And so we are definitely in the process of building a very, very, very building a better Brunswick.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate you coming by.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Well, today we learned a couple valuable programs that are in our community. If you're a resident, you have a second opportunity to come back and repair your homes using funds that are from the CDBG DR program. And more importantly, we learned a little bit more about how we can bring in new jobs and new businesses, and so the incentives that the City of Brunswick has. The City of Brunswick is a great place to live, and we value our residents. It's a great place to open a business, and so we have a lot of incentives hoping to bring in those businesses, and it's a great place to invest. So check out the federal opportunity zones and check out the City of Brunswick.